Welcome to the Friday nights. I'm Jason Sandberg. Fellas, I had a fantastic week. I picked this up off of Amazon. They covered it on the gutter. Now, I've read some Eric Powell work in the past, but I've never read any Goon, or I can't remember reading any Goon. So Aldous and JP covered this about a month ago, praised it, and it's like a standalone story, so I figured I can't lose. So I picked this up. I'll let you know how it goes.
Cool.
And then I was digging through the long boxes, and I pulled out this old gem. This is a 5-issue run from Legends of the Dark Knight. Doug Munch and Paul Gulacy art with Terry Austin inks.
Yep.
You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. And it's a story. It's a story like right before Batman gets the Batmobile,
Yep.
and there's a Hugo Strange is kind of on this task force to figure out who the Batman is. It's good. It's not year one good, but it's
I read that when I was 14 years old, so I remember
good
that.
stuff. It's
Yeah.
good stuff. Yeah. So go hunt these down. Highest recommendation.
Yeah, very cool.
As always, I'm hard at work on Jupiter issue 2. Jupiter issue 1 is in demand on FundMyComics and Indiegogo. Crossed the 10K mark earlier this year, so I'm looking forward to sharing some samples of issue 2 in the coming weeks, but I'm not going to share it until it's worthy of being shared with our fine people. Craig, I have to imagine you had a better week than Vladimir Zelensky. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so around here it's starting to warm up. It's nice. It's nice to see spring coming. However, when it comes to new books or books I'm reading, this is the only book I got on my table right now. But,
I'm
you
flattered.
hit,
I'm flattered.
you hit up Jason, you maybe can get him to sign it for you. So there you go. But yeah, no new books in the mail for me to read, so took a bit of a break from that. Spring's just coming, and I'm just working on my house. So
Hey,
I
when did the night market start? Are you planning on making the rounds there again?
Yeah, so that's usually starts in the summertime when my son's off school.
Okay.
So I usually do the July August market, so it won't be put till a little bit later on in the summer. But one thing I have been doing is I have been putting together ideas for pages for
Yeah.
Soltac issue 5. So yeah, I mean, I think this is the last day of the month. So starting next week, I'm gonna go to Gonzalo and I'm gonna start working on preemptive drawings for what Dexter's got to look like and a couple splash pages I got in mind. So yeah, I'm going to start production here very shortly.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Rob, how was your week?
Well, you didn't show off any of my Batman books, so I'm already disappointed.
Right.
But at least Zelensky knew he was getting fired. So, so the guy didn't, hey, if I could get paid $1 billion to sell out my country, I don't know. Maybe would I take it? I don't know. And then when I get fired, be like, okay, I made $1 billion.
Remember when Rand Paul wanted to audit the money going to go into Ukraine? Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
What a quaint notion. What a quaint notion. So Rob, our friend here, Craig, he's in Canada, so he will periodically complain about the billions of dollars wasted by his government, and I just snicker. Oh, I wish it was only billions.
Oh, well, you know what's hilarious is a YouTuber just brought up the fact that Trump making a big deal about getting mineral rights from Ukraine during a war.
Right.
Canada has all the same stuff.
That's right.
You could just truck it down instead. So there's unfortunately it's everything is fake as our movies. Everything in the world is fake. It's all BS.
We have an election imminent here in Canada that's supposed to happen. The government that's been in charge for the past 10 years, they don't want to let go, right? They don't want to have a fair democratic process. They don't want to release the reins of power. But fingers crossed we have an election here soon. Fingers crossed we have a conservative jump in there, and then we can sort out all this mess with regards to defense in North America and the Arctic and resources. So
no. What? Why would you want to sort that out? Just join the shit show that is America, and we can all enjoy the firestorm of insanity all at once. And I'm not liberal, I'm not conservative. I get to throw stones at both sides.
Yeah. I just want a sane world. Yeah. I don't want politicians to constantly be in the news. I want, entertainment and stuff like that to be in the news.
I want to sell comic books. I want to draw comic books.
That's right.
That's honestly, when it comes down to it, all I want to do is draw comic books. And now with Death Raider, write and draw comic books. That's all. Really, I only want to be left alone. And I want to do that. Exactly. So everything else is.
I want to be excited about new movies and new TV shows and new comic books.
You know what? You can be. You don't have to listen to YouTubers who shit on everything.
That's right.
I knew Falcon and Captain America was not going to be that great. it still was nice to leave the house for 2 hours. So I was like, well, that was not a very good movie, but at least I got out. So
Rob, are you reading anything that you want to show off or talk about?
No, in
Anything
fact,
nearby?
I haven't bought a comic book in probably almost 10 years. The joke was when I was doing lots of cons was I didn't have the time to read comic books and I couldn't afford my own comic books. Now part of that was not really true because DC was sending me all their comic books. So I read about 40%, skimmed through like 40% of the books. The last time I flipped through comic books, I was working at Phenom. So that might've been, that was some digital download comic books. And I was like an art director / editor at the time. So when I would look at the story and go, what was the point? There's no drama. The characters, there's nothing to this story. There's nothing to make me excited about this story. And that was an Alpha Flight book that I had pulled off of Comixology. And I think it must have been, 5-6 years ago. That was their version of Alpha Flight at that time. And I was just like, holy shit, guys, come on. And then it was the very 2 last books I bought were an X-Men book because Brett Booth drew it and Fabian Nicchisi wrote it, and it felt like he wrote it. And then the Chris Pacello, remember when he did the Spider-Man book? He launched the new Spidey book a couple years ago.
Yeah, who was writing that? Yeah,
I got the first issue.
Okay.
And it felt like there was no drama there either. It just felt like Chris Pacello said, hey, I want to do some Spider-Man.
True.
And so, they're like, okay, all right, whatever. Like he took time out of his video game concept art schedule to come back into comics and, grace us with his presence for a 8-month schedule. And then he's off again to make real money. So that's it, though. Unfortunately, all the comic books I flipped through, it's Todd McFarlane's Hulk, it's Jim Lee's Uncanny X-Men. I love that stuff, and even on my new YouTube channel, I talked about Uncanny X-Men 275.
Nice.
So,
You're kindred spirits with Craig here. That's right in his sweet spot. So fantastic.
Oh man, I love that stuff so much. That's that was when I was a teenager. I helped make those guys rich by buying multiple copies of those books, and I don't regret any of it.
Nice. Well, welcome, Rob. Craig, who's in the chat tonight?
Yeah, for sure. So going up to the top, let's see who's first. Vulcan's joining us again. I was worried about Vulcan disappeared, and glad to see you back. Again, Jason's always assuring me, don't worry, Vulcan will be back. So welcome back to the show. Here's Rob's handle, and so if you click on his profile picture, subscribe to his YouTube as well.
There's actually 2 channels. You'll probably find the other one too. One is I'm actually trying to just be comic book, because that one that pops up with this YouTube login, that's mostly about politics and unfortunately watching the world burn. And a lot of comic book people don't like that at all.
If you'd like to throw it in the, if you'd like to throw a link to the other channel, possibly in the private.
Oh yeah.
Throw them both in the private share.
I'll try to.
No rush. We're here for 90 minutes. So
okay, good, because I have no clue how to get it without switching. You know how you do the YouTube switch your accounts. So
yes.
And if I do that now while we're talking, I'll disappear.
AC Pritchard's joining us. So don't forget to. Yes, I always forget to say. Don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe.
AC and I are enjoying the first winds of spring here in Minnesota. It's been like 40 degrees, 45 degrees. So AC, I know he's probably out there getting some walks in and enjoying the warming weather.
I'm in Florida, so that sounds brutal.
Yeah.
It's colder right now. It might be down to 62 at night. So but well, hold on. When it gets to hit August and September and it's 92 degrees out with 90-degree humidity, I'm paying the price.
I do enjoy it when the jet stream comes from Florida straight up north, and then I get hit with nice warm weather.
I'm
on the other side of Maine, So I'm East Coast, but
okay. I like the opposite. I like when you guys are under a blizzard.
right.
Because when you're under a blizzard, it'll be like, instead of it being 82 here in the wintertime, it'll be a lovely like 65, maybe even low 60s, high 50s. And those are nice because you know the air conditioner's not going to run at all.
And then I'm under an Arctic squall at that point.
Yes, you guys are getting completely frozen out. And I'm just like, dude, it is beautiful. I'm so glad I live in Florida. People are like freezing and dying, and I'm just like, wow, it's what a wonderful day today is. So unfortunately.
Chris Faction joined us, says, "Hey, I'm the son." I don't know if that's the first time he saw that trailer.
You know, it probably is. It probably is, and he's probably shrooming too. Chris, you may have to. Chris, this is an appeal. Chris, when we do our 2-year anniversary show this summer, come on for 5 minutes. Come on. All right.
Yeah, we'll keep going. I'll keep going until Jason's had enough. So I don't.
Yeah, I got no. I'm not. These colors don't run. What are you talking about?
Yeah, we're almost at the 2-year mark. That's crazy. Crenshaw.
So, Craig, there's nobody else I'd rather grab an oar with. So, I mean, likewise. We're here for the long haul, right?
Absolutely.
At least 2.6 years.
Well, we're just starting to get the wins. Like, yeah, I'm not starting. We're gonna just keep lining up all the wins. See, Crenshaw FAO. That's a new handle in the chat. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
I think he's on my Twitter.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
on my Twitter.
He's a good guy.
Nice. Yeah. SFG Gaming, a newfound friend of mine as well, says hail Comic Skate. Hail to you as well. He's a really good backer, much like myself.
He's on. We see him on Pontificators all the time.
Nice,
right? SF Pontificators a lot.
Great new friend I've been chatting with a lot. So I think that's that's everyone in the chat so far. We've got 39 watching us this evening. Thank you so much.
Nice, very cool.
Philbo just popped in. Philbo's in.
Well,
I've seen Philbo before. I don't remember where though. All the live stream starts to merge together. What was it, Philbo? Was it Pontificators? Was it Ethan? What was it?
Would you
and SF Gaming? Thank you for backing Jupiter. Oh, nice. It will ship out tomorrow. Thank you for backing. Appreciate it.
It's very awesome.
Sweet.
I think he also backed Death Raider too, because we were talking about you coming on our show, Rob. So.
I'm pretty sure he was on Pontificators one night talking about he had just backed it.
Whoa! Look who's here, Nicholas Gear. Hello, sir.
Dude, what's up?
All right, Craig. I have been working hard on my day job, working on Jupiter issue 2. Aside from Vladimir Zelensky getting kicked out of the White House, I have no idea what happened this week. What is our first and most important news item of the week?
All
right. So yeah, as you know, with our show Friday nights, we come to you every Friday at 10 p.m. with 3 topics, 90 minutes with one guest creator. First topic that I got this week, I know I'm going to screw this up. El Adelantado. Did I got that right? Adelantado. No one knows where it leads, but scientists have discovered an interstellar tunnel beginning around our solar system. So now they believe that there's like this cocoon that wraps inside of our solar system, and it potentially you can travel from solar system to solar system. So here they are, mapping the cosmic bubble, and we potentially could have a super highway within our solar system once scientists figure all this out.
I just discovered that I didn't discover it myself, that the Milky Way galaxy is in a giant void.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that before either. I just learned about that on YouTube like maybe a month and a half ago. And I was like, oh, that doesn't surprise me when you think about it.
So Craig, is this like a cushion between like a cushion between heavenly bodies, or is this an area of less resistance where things can like move faster? Tell me more.
Yeah. So again, I'm not a scientist by any stretch of the imagination, but what they're saying with this is a lot like a jet stream. So I mean, again, thing about jet streams, we just discovered those in World War II. We weren't fully aware of how those worked.
I think Benjamin Franklin discovered the jet stream
Yes.
during his voyages back and forth across the Atlantic.
But so very much the same way that a jet stream works is how these tunnels work from a solar system to solar system. They believe that there's like comets, meteors, and debris that's basically traveling from one system to another, and it gets in these tunnels and just helps expedite the process.
Kind of like like an undertow or something.
Yeah.
So time moves faster there.
That's this is the thing about time and space, right? So I don't know. Again, I'm not a scientist. So.
Well, at least as far as I know, because I learned on YouTube that gravity is actually time moving slower and faster.
Yeah. Yes.
So, wow.
Mind blowing stuff.
You know, they were just talking about on YouTube the fact that they were thinking it was dark matter. Why things like some things weren't matching up on their math when they would look really far out into the universe.
Yep.
And now they're saying we don't think it's dark matter. We don't even know if dark matter exists. And now they think it's just parts of the universe might have actually different physical laws.
Right.
And which you're just like, wait, what? So we're just like all the way around, like literally. Did humanity get put into the Milky Way galaxy, which is in a void, where our physical laws are all kind of shitty, like really like difficult to travel through space? We're all weak, whatever. Elsewhere in the universe, uranium is like 100 times more powerful. Maybe it's a lot easier to fly. Well, you know, just all like the physical laws are so different that, yeah, we could be Kryptonian also.
So Rob, you're saying the laws of physics as we know them are a local phenomenon.
Yes. And isn't that messed up? Almost like a prison.
The one interesting missing piece that I think is falling into all that is black holes, because black holes suck in all the energy and everything that's in, and people don't know where that goes. And I think if you were to flip a black hole, that could wind up being the dark matter that's in a different universe, and eventually it fills so much that it just bursts out, and then you have your explosion that creates a big bang. So I think the missing anomaly, that one piece that they're missing, is those dark matter voids could potentially be the pocket that's created from a black hole.
Okay, you're bearing the lead, Craig. I think there's an arbitrage opportunity. What we need to do is we need to slipstream through one of these things to one of those galaxies where gold is abundant. Grab a bunch, slipstream back here, and we net the vig.
Well, again, we don't have to go that far. We got Psyche 23 that's in our own solar system. That's a planet core, and that thing's like $17 gazillion worth of gold. And yeah, we don't have to go that far at all.
Plus, what if we find out that gold in the other part of the universe, we go to put it in our shuttle base, and it's intangible. We can't actually touch it because the laws are different.
Yeah.
And our engines no longer work because of the laws of physics. We can now we're stuck in this like different laws.
We grab the big chunk of gold and like we get like a lion head. And then we're like,
exactly.
Whoa, what the heck?
Oh no, it's kryptonite gold. Oh my God, we're Kryptonians over here. Like son of a bitch.
So Craig, help me out with this whole this whole time travel thing here. So if I take out a loan for $100 and the interest rate is 4%, but I travel back in time, then so I travel back in time to when the interest rate was 6%, and I lend that money, and then I come back to the point where I borrowed the money and collect clip the coupons on the loan to get the bonds, to get the cash. And then I pay myself back. How do I come out?
Well, so it's not necessarily the interest percent that matters. It matters is if there's compound interest, as Warren Buffett always emphasizes. As long as the money grows with the interest and it continues to snowball, then as long as you got a longer time scale, you've got a longer return on bigger return on.
I gotta be honest. If you could time travel and you're worried about loans and interest rates, you're probably thinking a little too small.
But Rob, have you graphed interest rates against gravity waves? Do you know, like, does that have any kind of effect on that?
You tell me you have a time machine, and I'll give you a way better plan than interest loans.
Rob, if you had a time machine, Rob, tell us Unless this is a pitch, unless this is a
Yeah.
comic book you're gonna do, and you
No.
don't want to spill the beans, Rob, what would you do with a time machine?
I would rule the world through economic means. Literally, just go back in time and just be like, "Oh, look, I'm the first zillionaire, but I'm not going to tell people I'm the first zillionaire." And then I would manipulate the entire planet with my immense wealth.
You want that responsibility? Don't you want? Don't you just want to like?
Do you
be on
see
a,
what? Do you see the fireball we're on right now? It can't be worse.
Would you rather be like on a Tahitian island doing comic books? Drinking like a coconut, with a little umbrella in it.
I inked comic books for over 20 some years. I have lots of comic books out there. I destroyed my neck working in comic books. If I have immense wealth, I'm not leaning over a table and still working on comic books. I'm sorry. I know there's a lot of people who are like, dude, even if and to be honest, when I was at CrossGen, and we were making, I think when I first got there, they were paying me $42,000 a year, and this was 2003. So that was pretty decent. It wasn't as much as I wanted, but okay. I would go home on the weekends and I would work on comic book stuff. I would be writing my own comic book type things. I was always like, I thought that if I was the guy who won the lotto, I would actually be busier because I would have my own comic book company. Well, 2003 was 22 years ago. I'm older and my neck is older.
Yeah.
If I win the lotto, I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything. So,
So what? So help me out. What was your favorite studio collaborator or hangout person or anecdote from CrossGen?
Oh, dude, CrossGen. CrossGen was awesome. CrossGen was awesome, and it was because we all had worked in comics and we all had the experience. We knew the books were selling like shit, and unfortunately, the dream wasn't going to survive. It's too bad that CrossGen, the boss, didn't have more money. But to be honest, when he set up his business model, he was worth twice as much money. And then the 2000 crash happened. He still went along with his plans, but originally his plans were he could lose $2 million a year, and that was no big deal. That was the business model of CrossGen, and if they eventually became profitable, it would be okay. Well, right from the beginning, they're still losing $2 million a year, but they couldn't do that indefinitely.
Right.
And that's the downside. And I didn't even witness that. I came in in 2003, and I think they were already like almost on year 2, maybe year. They've already been there for a year. I heard it was so crazy stressful if you were there from the beginning, because the boss was spending so much money, especially at startup, even office supplies, desk chairs, flying people, because they would fly people in, show them around the area, and then people would move down. Everybody worked out of the studios. That was, I guess, incredibly stressful that first year to be there. I got to work with Andy Smith. I got to work with Jeff Johnson. I got to work with Mike Attia. We were all in like a cubicle together, the way they had the cubicle set up. I got to know Bart Sears really well. A lot of people that I still talk to all the time and that I'm still friends with. That was a blast. That was so much fun.
In the Cube bullpens, would you guys listen to the radio? Would you take turns with music, or what was that like? What was the atmosphere like?
We would make jokes and have fun and laugh. And then Paul Pelletier in another cubicle would complain that we were too noisy.
I can't think over here.
But it's okay for us to learn everything about NBA and basketball when he's excited to talk about basketball for 4 hours straight. Right. So you take 20 some freelancers that obviously we all have our own little social quirks, because we picked a job where we work at home by ourselves, and you shove us in an office building where we all now have to be around each other. And that dynamic is Dude, that dynamic is insane. Like, I would hear the stories of Bart telling me, because he, at one point, he was the art director, like the constant flow of freelancers going into his office to bitch because they're mad at somebody because somebody said something, like little children. So,
Yeah, I'm the art director, not the HR department.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't have an HR department, or the HR department that they kind of had, nobody would go to her because it would just make it an even bigger train wreck of a mess.
Right.
So, and believe me, I had a couple conversations about HR and being too honest with people about certain things and going, I that's what this meeting's about. I'd be like, are you serious? That's what our meeting's about?
Hurt feelings.
Wait, she started crying? And Eddie's like, we're not changing shit. That's too bad. I'm sorry you're crying. And I'm like, and Bart's like, oh my God. No, this is not what the meeting is supposed to. This is not how it's supposed to work out. You guys are supposed to be a team. So, but I miss like the bowling. I did. By the time I got there, they were done like taking everybody out for like bowling and stuff like that. I heard that was a lot of fun. The boss had bought MegaCon, so going to MegaCon with the whole studio was really fun. And knowing that you only had to sit at the table for like 2 hours, like one of the days out of the 3 or 4 days, I literally just went and grabbed the table, because this was back when MegaCon was a lot smaller. So there was just going to Artist Alley, there's going to just be empty tables. So when I wasn't signing at the Crush Gen booth, I just sat at a table and was signing, all my Iron Man comics and stuff like that. So it was a lot of fun, especially I quickly became single. I wasn't single when I got there, but I was single 6 months after getting there. And being in Florida from where I moved from, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and Crushing was a lot of fun. I mean, think about it. You're going to a job every day, where you're hanging out with friends, and we all have the same shit in common. We all love comic books. So, I mean, that part of it, that's amazing. I wish a very wealthy person will get the idea of doing the same thing again. And I would hope to get a phone call. Yeah. Because as long as they're going to still be in Florida, though, because my wife's job, we couldn't move. Now, like when I was single, and I could move anywhere in the United States. I don't really know how many people you could get, though, to move this time around. There would have to be like kind of long-term contracts, because people will be like, no, dude, we heard about CrossGen. We know that was 20 years ago, but that's people still remember. People, it'd be a hard sell to get people to sell their house and move to Florida all over again, or wherever, San Diego, wherever it is. So
I think so. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. That's I can't imagine that's just you. I imagine when it's happening, I can tell you're looking around realizing this is like a once in a lifetime type of proposition. So sounds fantastic.
Yeah. Well, you really, when you think about it, it was, we had Extreme Studios, we had Wildstorm Studios, Top Cow, and where did most of those go? Those all went away. Like Top Cow is still a studio, but Top Cow really is only an office space, so that Mark Silvestri, when he's schmoozing with his Hollywood buddies, because it's in LA, he can show them the office and say, hey, this is Top Cow, because he does like lots of movie concept stuff still. But otherwise, those offices really, Top Cow only exists to pay the editorial to continue to do Top Cow stuff. Right. But Top Cow isn't where Top Cow used to be a force in comic books. We don't have Top Cow anymore. We don't have Wildstorm. Extreme's gone. CrossGen was kind of the last to go. I think Wildstorm was on the way out when CrossGen showed up. So, it's a great experiment, but you really need to be successful,
right,
to pull that off. Right. And we see that comic books are a weird thing. Comic books it's a very inefficient type of industry where it breeds inefficiency. It breeds a lot of excess. When comic books are booming, it's easy to have a studio. And when comic books aren't booming, we saw with CrossGen, by the time CrossGen was over, they had lost, they were like in debt of like $30 million. So,
Wild. So Craig, speaking of businesses that are having a rough time, I heard there's a ramen shop. Is a
Yes.
ramen? What's this? What's up with this?
Okay, so our next topic for this evening comes to us from New York Post. A ramen shop owner places a cash bounty on the heads of some customers who left him bad 1-star reviews. So basically, the ramen shop owner was not happy with the 1-star review that a customer gave him. And then I forget what social media, he took to Instagram and basically put out a bounty. Anyone find these customers? I want to know who they are. And then made various threats on Instagram.
Ooh, how much money? Is this something I can collect?
100,000 yen. So,
I don't think that's much.
Basically, it's $700. Yeah.
You're gonna have to add a couple zeros to that.
So have you guys heard about the Yelp shakedowns where these people will threaten to leave? They'll threaten to tank your store with terrible Yelp reviews if you don't cough up money. Have you heard about this?
No, that's insane.
Yeah, it's like a
shakedown.
Mafia, yes, shakedown mafia tactics. So do you think they gave them a 1 throwing star review?
Oh, jeez. I personally, I threaten shitty reviews when I'm fighting with whatever corporation it is at that point, whether it's the cable company or now with Frontier, I'm with Frontier, or with Duke Electric, all of those. Like when it gets really shitty, I always threaten. I'm like, I'm gonna blast you on social media, and I have almost 3,000 followers. Right. I'll just say thousands. That way they can figure out how many they have. What's always funny though is social media reps, because they get paid so well. They always contact you long before the corporations do, because the social media they're like, oh, we don't want to hear any, no bad shit on social media about whatever it is, PepsiCo or whoever. So you do get contacted really fast through social media if you've got a problem with a company. Mm-hmm. So I guess that's a positive for social media.
So we heard about this news article, and we said, we got to look at it from both sides. So we had our investigative team look into what exactly did these guys order that caused them to give such poor reviews. So Craig, do you have that investigative report handy? Let's take a look at what they ordered here. All right. This is a Friday night's investigative report on ramen. Yeah. All right. Let's see what we got first. So it is not unique. It is not new to have people in the restaurant business angry with customers and have customers angry at the restaurants. Rob, in your mind,
yes,
who's more adversarial, Jared from Subway, Colonel Sanders, or that guy from the Seinfeld show? Who's more adversarial to you? Who's more of a threat?
Well, Jared liked children. Mm-hmm. So, that's you want to throw
good in prison.
Yeah, you want to throw a chair at him. I never knew this Colonel Sanders guy. I never saw him in a commercial.
No, you didn't know KFC commercials?
No, well, not this guy. This guy looks completely different than the ones from the KFC commercials in the 80s.
I think that was an actor.
I did see this KFC. I did see the Seinfeld guy, and he was totally confrontational, and he was a total a-hole. So, but I think when you have that much success, I think you're supposed to be. Aren't you supposed to be a diva when you get that much success?
I mean, hear that. Yeah.
Those people were like waiting in line, and they were practically begging to buy his soup. So if you don't act like a diva, then people question whether they should be in that line or not, right? It seems to be the way things work. I think probably the soup guy. Soup guy's the biggest jerk.
Craig, I should have brought in Gordon Ramsay, right? Isn't he like
Yes.
doesn't he have attitude? All right. I know. So again, we're on a small budget here on the Friday nights, but so we're starting out with the concession that sometimes it is the restaurateur's fault, right? Sometimes. Now
Yes.
let's look at what these gentlemen ordered. All right.
What?
So Rob, frog soup. What are your thoughts?
I am going to throw a chair at each of the people who ordered frog soup, and if they do it in front of me, I might have to shoot them. So, come on, man, frog. Was this America? You're ordering frog soup in America because you're some kind of foodie asshole. Screw
They
you.
paid in yen. So Craig, this happened overseas, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, it
still.
happened in Japan. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know all they eat is fish and
Octopus.
frogs and come on, man. Stop being such a freak. Just because it moves doesn't mean you need to eat it.
Mm.
You know what I mean? I mean,
hear
human
ya.
beings, like you literally like we're like first we're like Neanderthals and we're just trying to survive, but we'll eat anything.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
for some reason, that never grew out of us. We'll still eat anything. And now it's not even about starving. At least before you're like, think about it. Who was the first person to eat seaweed? Who's the first person to eat a frog? But I would say that you were starving, so you would. But now we have options, and we are still eating that same shit. There's something wrong with us.
I'm
For a
thinking the
very
first
brief
guy
time-
that. Go ahead.
For a very brief time, for a few weeks, I was impressed with the internet because I would think of zany things, and anything I could think of, I could find it on the internet.
Mhm.
And then I finally realized that, holy smokes, human beings will literally do anything to generate content. And,
Yes. They'll do anything, and they'll eat anything.
So I'm thinking we're never gonna know who the first man to eat a frog because I'm thinking the first guy to eat a frog wasn't bragging about it. Right? He's not gonna go tell anybody. Craig, is this like the frog soup your mom used to make?
yeah. Oh, yes, absolutely.
Ugh, gross.
All right. So if you order the frog soup, you kind of going in knowing it's gonna be a 1-star experience.
I don't know. I don't know. Like, is this something like you said becomes normalized when you're a child, or is this something you
Yeah.
do on a dare?
I bet it is. It's a culture thing.
Yeah.
It's a
All right.
culture thing. So they're eating as children, so they know
Yeah.
they don't know how wrong they are.
Right.
All right. Let's see what the other guy ordered.
Okay.
Oh,
Mm.
my God.
What? For some reason, everything has a head, right? Like, so there's something going on with those people ordering these concoctions.
Craig, were they trying to test their machismo and it took a wrong turn?
Well, I don't know. Fish head soup's not as strange as eating a frog, in my opinion, because I mean, it's a bit more common. People used to, in the Depression and whatnot. So.
Is it?
I'm gonna have to just. People are awful. I'm gonna burn that restaurant to the ground.
I
rate it. I rate it 5 fires.
I'm looking at this and I'm like, that's what's in the garbage can at the restaurant. All right, so let's see what they had for dessert.
Okay.
Oh,
Come on! What is that? Some kind of crab?
I think it's
Crustacean.
something that's evolutionarily related to a crab.
It's like
I
a
think it's some
centipede.
sort of
It's like
pre-crab.
ocean centipede. Come on, guys. Once again, just because it moves doesn't mean you have to eat it.
I think Vulcan speaks for all of us. with that
We're
alone.
gonna drive Vulcan to disappear for a bit again after this.
So, Rob, who is at fault for this 1-star review? Who's really
I'm blaming
at
the
fault?
entire culture. I'm blaming Japan, the country. They don't even make our stuff anymore, so screw them. All they've got going for themselves anymore is they've got ninjas. Otherwise,
and manga, yeah.
and Godzilla, ninjas and Godzilla.
So, Craig, I think this is a good way for me to kick off the weekend diet. I'm going to be fasting this weekend.
Let's do it.
All right. I think that's it. Okay. Let's try to change the tone here. Let's bring in something a little more palatable.
Okay.
What's the next story?
So our third and final topic for this evening's Friday nights comes from Associated Press. A bakery shop owner in New England says he was offended over the town's decision against his pastry painting. So he has this basically home converted bakery shop.
Mhm.
He's got this big mural that he painted that goes over, it's free expression. And then the town determined that it's an advertisement and basically ordered him to take it down. And he says, I don't think so. It's my free expression and it's a painting and I can put that in my house if I want. So.
Yeah, but it's specifically trying to sell his bakery items. So
I think it's cheerful. I think it's a dandy day brightener. I got nothing wrong with this mural. This is a mural, guys.
This is what is it, like a town ordinance?
Yes.
I would say that if I will give this person the right to do this, but I get to negotiate on my property taxes because I have no children. So why am I paying property taxes to the schools? So I will give it to this person and then immediately stop paying most of my property taxes because most of it goes straight to the school and I don't have kids. So I will agree with them and wonder why my property taxes haven't gone down yet.
Yeah, I'm driving down the road and I see a big splash of color, especially the kind of the bleak parts of the New England winter.
Brutal.
I think this is a beautiful, cheerful thing. And I want to know if I'm living in this New Hampshire town, if they're bringing the full force of government down on this guy's mural, there better be no fentanyl zombies on the street. There better be no litter. There better be no other problems. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know how that works, though, right? Government loves to pick the easy targets, right? Easy target causes quick publicity. Yeah.
And it's all how this property was zoned. Obviously it's still zoned for residential and not commercial, but there might be some kind of town precedence that says that you can run a small business out of your house. But obviously there's rules, what you can do and what you can't do. Right. It's like me complaining about the property taxes, but I also moved into the town I moved into. It wasn't like I moved into this town and 2 days later they said, oh, hey, by the way, property taxes went from, $12 to $2,000. And I'm like, wait, what? So the person had no problem accepting the rules when they purchased the home. But now the rules don't fit and they've already been there for so long. Just change. You're a bakery, but what if the mural is all cheeseburgers? Then is it okay?
So I think, Rob, you bring up some great points, and you're correctly framing this as a battle between the power of ordinance and the power of free speech and commerce. Let's see where Captain America would land on this here.
Oh, you know what he's going to do.
All right. So as we all know, as Frank Miller taught us, that the Department of Defense, the mighty fist of the government, holds Captain America in the highest regard. And they value his commitment and loyalty. And what does Cap say?
Baked goods. He's going to beat the shit out of no, wait, who? Wait, who's he beating?
So
that's all I want to know.
So next slide, Craig. Let's see where Captain America stands. He's loyal to nothing, gentlemen, but the dream. So when it comes down to pastries, in America, let's see where Captain America puts his foot down. Next slide. Yes. Captain America is staunchly for advertising for pastries.
Rob, did I change your mind? Go back one? Can you go back to that previous shot?
Sure.
What the fuck is wrong with the wings on the left side of his head?
I think that may have been a printing error. I think it's a printing error.
Friday afternoon at 2:00. That's what that
It's was. Not a ponytail. It's not a roach.
He's got a feather. Wait a minute. That's a Native American Captain America.
So Rob, I've got a theory. And one of my theories is if you walk into a random comic book shop and pick up a random comic, if it's got a pie ad, you're 8 times out of 10, it's going to be a good comic book. Is that a good theory?
Dude, it's a fantastic theory because I grew up in the time period when there was lots of Hostess pie ads. And Hostess, there's the Twinkies and the fruit pie ads. So yeah, you know that comic book's going to kick ass.
All right.
That's
Nice.
that's a definite. What else were the ads for? Some of the older books were
Video games, board games, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes. That was a lot of was that 90s, 80s, late 80s? The
Yeah,
Dungeons
late
and
80s,
Dragons.
early 90s.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think Bill Willingham drew some of those too. I think.
Oh, nice.
The other one I always loved is there's the one page comic strip about the boy who's riding his bike down the sidewalk and this guy like nearly backs into him and he gets grounded. So he's walking through the town and he sees in the shop window these little bike sirens. So he gets it and he puts on his bike and like the same guy's backing out of his driveway again. And he's like, "Hey, nice job with the siren, Billy. I didn't drive you over.
I didn't kill you."
And like when I was so and then I would read the comic and be like, is this guy like, is he just like sit in his driveway and drive forward and backward all day?
Just wait for Billy. I'm going to get that son of a bitch. One of the
He's
days he's going to forget to use the siren.
You hear about like during the Great Depression, the guys didn't have a job, so they like they'd get out of their business suit and like go to the movie theater. Like maybe this guy's got problems, and he's just in his car in his driveway.
That's got to be the older comic books, right? Are those like books 70s. Out of the 70s?
Yeah,
because the books in the 70s also had the Joe Wyatt. Did they have the whole ad of all the junk shit that you could order? Mail order.
Yeah. So John's Lombox, he has this great pitch. He wants to do a comic book where some kid ordered all that stuff and like cobbled it together and became a superhero. I think that's a great idea.
The worst superhero ever.
Well, but no, he's got like the X-ray goggles. He's got the all the stuff, the disappearing ink, and it's one of those things where when he told me that idea, I'm like, oh, that's brilliant. I wish I had time to draw it. That's such a fun idea. All right, I think there's one more, Craig. Yep. One more. Yeah, further. This is Exhibit B. Yes, Captain America, squarely for the advertising of pastries.
Mm-hmm. Twinkies.
All right. So I think that wraps it up for our news segment, and now we get to focus on our guest, Rob. We're indebted to you for sharing the cross-gen stories. Thank you for joining us.
We all like talking about cross-gen because, dude, we had insurance. We got a check every 2 weeks. We got to hang out with our friends. It was a blast. And if I do look back at it and wish we could have enjoyed it a little more when it was happening. But dude, like I was on Iron Man and I went from Iron Man to CrossGen, and Iron Man was a top 10 book. So it's really quickly you could just go, these books are not selling. This is a great dream, but this dream's not working unless there's a guy behind the scenes who just has millions of dollars that just piss away indefinitely. And from what I know, because I've worked with a few millionaires since then, they will spend money for a certain amount of time. Mm-hmm. They won't tell you how much time that is, but they'll spend money for that amount of time. And then once they hit that limit, they start to micromanage. Mm-hmm. And when you try to micromanage people in the comic book community, you will lose all of them ASAP. Like they're out. And I've heard that story, not just from my own experience. A lot of people have that same story that's why the industry has so many comic book companies show up and then disappear within 2 years, because that's about 2 years is about the patience that the rich guy has.
Interpersonal relationships.
Yeah. Because they'll spend money and then all of a sudden, no, we've hit that threshold where their comfort factor is. Then they start to micromanage, and once they start micromanaging, it's like, bro, you didn't make your money in comics, but you think you can now make a comic book company successful by, you used to sell computers,
right?
So
it's not this.
Yeah, you're a great salesman. Why don't you get out there and try to sell the books that we're producing? Don't tell me what the stories need to be.
So I'm going to kick off with your campaign. So when I first loaded it in, 9 backers, I asked Rob about the funding goal. Don't worry about the funding goal if you're watching this. This is a second chance. The campaign was already ran through on Indiegogo. Basically, if you back this campaign here tonight, you will get your books. Rest assured.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's not one of those, if we don't make the $5,000, the books don't ship. This is I needed the price point for all the books that I sold on Death Raider. I needed to order more books that I actually sold. So this really is like, I don't want to be swamped with inventory. I just wanted to try to sell a few more books before they showed up from the printer. And this literally, the books from the Indiegogo campaign will ship first. And the books will already be here. And then the FundMyComic, those books go out right afterwards. So
I also, as well, for 51 that are watching and joining us tonight, thank you so much. I also have the trailer. So for everyone watching right now, the link to this campaign is pinned to the top of the channel. So feel free to click that while watching this. But here is the trailer for Death Raider #1.
And I actually did a big rundown on my YouTube channel, Rob Hunter Art, explaining a lot about Death Raider. Like, here's the protagonist, here's the antagonist, here's a summary of the story. This is what the bad guys are after. This is what the bad guys are doing. So I gave it a big rundown, especially because, like, all the artwork I shared, I think all the artwork but one of the pages on Twitter in the last year and a half. So it's I definitely haven't been shy about the story or the artwork on social media. So I thought it would, and I went through one of the PDFs that went to the printers and talked about a bunch of the pages and things. So if anybody has a question about Death Raider, you could go watch that video, and it's Death Raider on FundMyComic. So that's the title of the video on my YouTube channel to check it out. But it's mentioned before, I spent over 20 some years as a pro comic book artist for Marvel and DC. Worked for Dark Horse, worked for Top Cow. We talked about my stint at CrossGen. Then I was art director and inker still at Phenom Comics, which lasted. Phenom is still doing stuff, but most of the work we got done in the first 2 years, and now it's the boss, doing some other things and working with some of the colors to finish up a couple of the projects. And now I am at the crowdfunding site with Comicsgate and trying to just jam along with crowdfunding. And this is my first. I'm writing it, penciling it, inking it. I'm doing the gray tones for it. And then I ended up coloring it. This has been a long time in the making project. It's kind of funny when I look back how long it took me to do the first issue, because the second issue, I've already finished 40 pages of pencils and gray marker. So I'm in the process of inking those 40 pages right now. And the issue 2 will be 48 pages. This bad boy is 72 pages. We'll just say novice exuberance to make the book and the page count so large, but it was a lot of fun making this project and just creating these characters and the story that I weave them through.
Yeah, bringing the whole thing to life, like from concept to physical. Yeah,
exactly. Literally, the concept in the beginning was a sketch of Death Raider that I showed my boss at Phenom Comics so that he would do because I had no interest in drawing Death Raider. I was going to have, because one of our artists at Phenom, Mel Ruby, and I didn't even finish the design of the costume because I thought Mel would want to add his own influence to the costume design. Well, the boss said no. He said instead he said yes to Mel Ruby's project. So they went off to go do their project, and I went over here to Comicsgate, and I'm like, well, I like picked up that sketch and just started looking at it going, I guess I have to finish the designs. Let's, I was like, I literally was like in my office, like looking around going, I guess I'm doing my own comic book. And just it really is, it's a wild to look at where I started with a half finished drawing. And I purposely, being a new guy at the working on the stories and stuff, I left it really open. Like, I knew I was going to be like in the 64 page range. I pretty much plotted out each sequence of pages, but then I left it so that if I was really grooving on the artwork or just the explaining what needed to happen in like a 6-page sequence, I left it so that if I wanted to compress it or expand it, I could.
Yep.
Nice.
So I kind of wrote wrote the story. There was an overall outline of the story, but then I just kind of really let it so I could, squeeze or expand each little section, because comic books, they always jump around from here to there, whatever.
Yeah, I find a lot of the professional artists, they jump. They don't just do it in sequence from page 1 to page 2 to page 3. No, they find some of the killer pages and they pull those out, and then they throw the filler. And like you said, if they want to expand the fight, they'll go from 6 to 8.
Exactly. Yeah, or they'll look at something and go, wait a minute, how did I get to here? I thought I did a good job explaining it in 2 pages, but then when you look at it, go, I think I need a third page the transition needs to be a little smoother. And there's actually pages that I first shared. There's pages of that trailer that actually didn't make it into the book because I ended up pulling those. Like, I'm like, that sequence is a little long. I'm going to have to cut some pages here or there. It worked out. It worked out to be a really tight, fast-paced action story, fun story.
72 pages is a nice book too. It's nice and thick.
Yeah. It's a lot of stuff happens. It makes you go. Really, when it comes to origin stories, I got to give a lot of people credit who can do those origin stories really fast. Because I realized that the story I wanted to tell, and it being an origin story, and I'm introducing everything is brand new to people, that's not as easy as it sounds. It's a lot harder because I was used to like even from a costume design and what the costume looks like, I'm working on another issue of Batman. Well, we all know what Batman looks like. So, and I'm working over the pencil. So I don't even have to really think about it. With this, all of a sudden I'm like, wait a minute, what did I do in the previous page? Like, I'm grabbing pages and looking at them going, oh yeah, that's right. Like,
that never stopped Jack Kirby. I mean, I get Jack Kirby, his character designs could change from issue to issue. No one cared.
But that was Jack, and he had, what was he doing, 6 pages a day, and he had a team of people waiting behind him to finish up stuff and ink stuff. All I've got is myself.
Right.
It's just me. And it would have been great that if the campaign, there was an extra 0 on the campaign where I had a team of people going, oh dude, don't worry, Rob, yeah, call it early tonight. We'll finish up. We'll fix that. Or no, it's just me going, if I don't fix that, it never gets finished. So
nice.
Cool.
So for those watching, Vulcan and I both backed cover B. If you're watching and you back, put in the chat which cover you choose. And Rob, do you have a favorite cover? Yeah, it's hard to play favorites with your kids, but do you have a favorite cover?
My favorite cover, right now, it's the side cover, and then of course the Brett Booth cover. because I got Booth to do a cover for me. I can't decide because one is it's my artwork and the other one is just, superstar Brett Booth. So I would probably say, because I made the promo poster for the retailer pack, that's the Brett Booth cover. So I would have to say that my favorite cover is Brett's cover. And then of my covers, it's probably, but the side cover is also the newest cover. So, but everybody easily the best-selling book was the tune-up cover B, the one with Death Raider without his hood or his cape. I haven't mastered hoods and capes yet. I like every time I see that cover and go, maybe he doesn't have a cape anymore. And people will see in the artwork with this first issue that the cool hex design that I had on this cape, and I kind of have it so it's translucent in places because it was supposed to be this cool stealth effect.
Mm-hmm.
I quickly gave up on that about 2/3 of the way. I was so done with trying to white out those hexes on his cape and trying to have them make sense. So, there you go, Crenshaw. He got cover B too. That has been people's favorites until they saw the side cover. I know that most of the people who backed this on FundMyComic, it's because they didn't know that the black and white version of Death Raider was going to be the side cover, and it was supposed to be it's a big surprise. I wanted it to be a surprise where until they opened their box, they didn't know what the cover was going to be. But then I needed a little bit of media hype, juice Twitter, so I had to release a cover to try to hype up FundMyComic. So
very cool. Well, you might be selling me on which cover to back.
Well, and to be honest, I explained this in my YouTube video talking about the Death Raider. That side cover, that's after the facts of Death Raider. And that's her just kind of slipping away after everything happens in Death Raider 1. And at first I wanted it. I thought it was going to be a big action cover, like my ode to, the Punisher cover where from the miniseries where his head's up against the alleyway and he's shooting and, the garbage is flying and, he's getting, originally I wanted to do it where there was lots of shooting and she's shooting back. But the closer I got to finishing it, I felt like it needed to just be a quiet cover. And it was like more of she's about to shoot somebody. It's like a half second before shit happens. And she's going to get her own book as long as I'm still in comic books in a year, because I want to do, it will be size a big Vegas adventure. So we'll see. We'll see if, as long as the books, as long as I can pay the bills and keep working on the books, then that's going to be, it'll be Death Raider 1, it'll be Death Raider 2, and then I'll be doing size big Las Vegas venture.
Nice.
It's awkward because I think I've come up with a better title than that, but it's going to have nudity in it. So she's, there's going to be lots of boobs and ass in that book. So it'll be a little bit of a departure. But I was on a podcast and Luke Stone made a comment about, show tits and ass and they'll sell real good on Kickstarter. My head popped up. I'm like, wait, what? What did you just say?
Right.
I could use a big seller.
Yeah. He unlocked the key to the universe.
Yeah, exactly. All of a sudden I'm like,
who'd have thought?
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, which of my characters can I, can be half nude throughout an entire comic book? So
usually on Kickstarter, it's they're not human proportions. Things are over accentuated.
Oh, the super cartoony.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the problem. I'm trying to be more realistic, so I won't be able to pull that off. So, but
it still sells well though.
It has I have already got the story, fleshed out. I didn't mean that pun, but it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be cybernetic ninjas and hot chicks and an angry casino guy, and it's gonna be lots of fun.
I'm just checking out all the covers. I keep toggling back and forth if I want to, just looking at all the different rewards. So
Yeah, and actually anybody, because of the way that you can't do add-ons for FundMyComic, if
Yep.
there's where someone says, "Hey, I want covers A, B, and D, or whatever they want," um, all you gotta do is email me, and I'll just build out a tier for you. Because I've already done that on a couple of things where someone wanted three different books, and they're like, "Bro, I want these 3 books, but should I have to pay, shipping 3 times?" And I'm like, "No, let me go back in and I'll actually just create a tier for you." And I try to do a little bit of that. So there's some doubling up and stuff where, this 2-book combination or this 3-book combination, but literally I would be there for, days making all the different combinations of books. So book covers, variants. So
all right, Jason, I think I know which one I want to back, so I'm just gonna pull this campaign down here.
So Rob, this is the part of the show where we vamp so that he doesn't get doxxed and no one sees his credit card number information as he backs. I think he's gonna back cover B, only because he goes into the slipstream between the universes and just goes with the flow. So Rob, this story, we saw the trailer, but this story, does it take place in the near future, far future? Tell us more about the world.
It's 2032. It's near future. We've already had a nuclear war where nukes got dropped, so cities had to be rebuilt, and that's like the city where him and Anna wind up. That's like one of the new smart cities of the future, where it's surveillance is everywhere. It's one of the points of why they picked that city in the first place, so that they could tap into surveillance. It really is. It's what happens is he's a juiced up. He has a super soldier serum in him, Team Core, which he's part of. Unfortunately, they get ambushed. He loses his legs. His team dies. The same ambush where he loses his legs, he gets alien tech embedded into his head, which gives him the knowledge to build up the Death Raider armor. And because of bad guys and all that stuff, he knows he's got to build the armor, and he's got to figure out what's happening, what's going on, who killed his team, why did they kill his, why did they do it? It's one of those. It's always makes it easy to keep the plot going when you just introduce one mystery after another.
So you're working on the second issue, and you mentioned there's going to be a third standalone story where your one of your characters goes to Las Vegas.
Yeah, that'll be
Was Las Vegas spared in the nuclear war, or did it get? What happened to Vegas? Was it untouched, or was it?
I didn't think that far out.
Okay.
Because the thing is when they talk about nuclear war now, they know that it's going to be tactical nukes, and it's not like we were taught in the 80s that Russia will let off all their nukes and we let off all our nukes and it just destroys the world. Now we know that that's not how they're going to play the nuclear war game. It'll be you nuked 2 of our sites, you nuked one of our military bases in one of our cities, so we are going to nuke one of your bases in one of your cities. And that type of method idea is so that you can hold the rest of the cities hostage, which it makes it easier for a treaty when there's still there's still people alive that you can still threaten. So Vegas would have been untouched.
Okay. How many installments do you foresee in this series? Is it ongoing, or you got a definite arc?
I will definitely right now I know that there's going to be 3 issues. And the side book is her own separate story. So, but there'll be 3 Death Raider issues. Beyond that, it really comes down to, can I hit a happy medium of not doing too much YouTube, but still getting a certain number out of the books? Because I want to get, right now my speed is pencils and inks in the marker, 3 pages a week. And that's kind of my top speed. And it started out where I only could do 1 page a week when I first started this. I would like to honestly not do any YouTube and just work on the book and go, here's the next crowdfunder, spend a week showing off the book, doing a bunch of, doing the rounds, and then just go right back to working on the next issue. And just, I don't know if that's possible, That would be the way for the book to come out like 4 times a year, though.
Yeah.
And I know
So
a lot of people.
A lot of
When I
small
look at
creators, they really struggle with the creating the book and then the campaigning. And a lot of the small creators
yes,
have ended up like they finish the book and then they do the campaigning because like you said, there's so much time invested in the production versus so
yeah.
much time invested in getting on YouTube and doing YouTube shows. But
And
yeah,
it's
it's
I'm not a multitasker. It's
yeah.
very difficult for me to. I'm the guy like, hey, put me in the corner and let me just draw, or tell me I have to YouTube every day. But I haven't really figured out a really efficient way of doing both. I'm trying. Like I probably put up one video every couple of days, or sometimes when news is really bad, I put up one video a day. But that's not comic book related stuff. Um, it's a yeah. I don't know. To be honest, I really still haven't figured it out. Like I have, like if Death Raider 2, because Death Raider 2 is going to be black and white, unless it hits like 35. Okay. So I plan on doing like bare bones. I pencil, ink, marker. Then with the fans, we figure out a font that they like, because I always get yelled at about the fonts I'm using in my lettering. Where I still letter it myself, but they actually don't yell at me about my fonts. And I rip through the book. I don't hack it out, but I do at least 4 books a year, and just kind of pop up and go, here's the next installment. I don't really know though. It's really
so the book. I mean, I haven't read the book yet, but it looks like a quality work, and you're going to have the contact list for all the people who backed. So you can begin to build a mailing list and things like that. And I think that I can't predict the future, but my sense is that once people get their hands on the first one, they'll want the second one, and it'll be a smaller level effort to market the second one, and it'll continue to, I think it's going to continue to build. I think this book is it's got a long tail. I think you're going to do fine.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that, because to be honest, I've already had a couple of my old editors contact me going, "Hey Rob, we've seen what you're doing." And Marvel and DC, it's not Marvel and DC, but it's editors from DC that used to work at DC before they got fired. Like a bunch of people got fired. They actually said, they're like, well, we've heard your comments on how much money you're under the poverty line right now. So page rates aren't great, Rob, but we would bring you up over the poverty line if you could do 3 pages a week. And I told him, I go, well, one, I got to get issue 1 out of Death Raiders out. And I go, and I already have most of Death Raider 2 already penciled. And they're like, well, just let us know if, you get to a point where you can't, they both said the same freaking thing. And it's funny because they work for 2 different companies. They said, we know a lot of freelancers are trying to do the YouTube thing, and it's a hard go. They both said the same thing. And I'm like, wait a minute, are they reading from a script? Like, and it was like an editor 1 month and the another editor, a month later. Like, I did, which ironically, I talked to a bunch of my buddies that I used to work with at DC and Marvel, and who I've known since CrossGen and stuff too. I went to MegaCon, and I talked to all those guys about crowdfunding and Comicsgate and YouTube. And they all looked at me like, fuck no, I'm never going to YouTube. They're like, no way, bro. They're like, because they're, from their perspective, because they are, one of the many guys doing all the different covers for Marvel and DC with all the variants. So they're selling their covers for $2 or $3 grand a piece. And they're just like, you want me to spend 6 hours a week on YouTube? That's cover. Why would I do that?
Venture in the Wild West, and yeah,
exactly. They all looked at me and they were just like, yeah, they're like, that's not going to happen. I go, have you guys thought about it? And I heard over, it was like, how many guys I talked to, 8 of my buddies, and they're like, yeah, we thought about it, but it just looks like it takes so long to get a following on YouTube to pitch your own book and market your own book. Honestly, they were still so successful in the comic book arena where they were, that maybe they weren't making as much money as they did 2 years ago, but they're making so much money just doing covers that, yeah. And I was just like, oh, okay. And they just looked at me like, well, let us know if things start cranking for you, Rob. Like, wait a minute, you want me to take all the pain and all the time and the build up, and then get back to me if you get 100,000 followers, because then we'll talk. And I'm just like, what? So, it's just like, oh, dude, come on, man, that's not cool.
It says when people ask you to be brave for them.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. It literally. Oh, this looks cool. This is your thing. You're doing this thing now. You're not just thinking anymore. And then you tell them about the YouTube, and they're like, yeah, wait, you want me to be brave for you while you continue to make lots of money? And then it's like, yes, that's exactly what we want you to do, Rob. And you're like, oh. So isn't that what friends are for? No. You go out. You take the hits. You take the paid.
So when we started the campaign, it had 9 backers. I don't remember the total, what the total was at, but I do remember there was 9 backers before we started the show. So we can do the drum roll, and we can find out how many new backers we got this evening. There you go.
Nice.
Up to 12.
Sweet.
Nice.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you, everybody who's backed tonight. Thank you very much. That's very cool. That's very cool.
Thank you for joining us as well.
That means a few less comic books stacked in the boxes that will be behind me in like 2 months. Month. I haven't heard from my printer yet, so
so
I don't know if that's good or bad.
I took a year off from creating my comic just to sell back issues, and I actually I cleaned up. It was nice to dig myself out of that hole for a year and sell all that inventory that's just sitting there. And I just went to municipal night markets and set it up. Just random people just looking at, oh my god, this is awesome. People got disposable income. Just random people coming by and just clearing off my table.
Oh, that's very cool. That's actually very positive to hear. Especially because I look at how much it costs to get a table. I used to. When I was busy doing a lot of DC stuff, they're just like, they'd look me up and go, oh, okay. Hey, Rob, we can't fly you out, but we can get you a table if you can get here. Now they don't even do that. They're like, oh, sorry, we don't have a table for you, Rob. And I'm just like, man, if I have, because I know I am going to have inventory, I'm just like, and I also, a lot of fans always trying to give me positive advice. They're like, dude, you only can go so far with YouTube. Depending on where you are at YouTube, they're like, what about going to different cons? And I always think that's cool advice, but cons are very expensive to go to the decent sized cons. I mean, you're talking $1,000 a con between the table, the hotel, the trip expense, the food. It easily, and when the books are $25 a piece,
it takes a long time just to break even.
Yes, you got to sell a lot of books just to break even, and then to get a past even. When you go, think of if you're at a con for 3 to 4 days and you got to prep for a con, that's a lot of time you're not working on pages and you're not moving forward to do a con. So,
and then the pipe above you bursts, and
hey, I was at OcalaCon. And retailers were already set up in like this hallway that was outside the main little convention because it was, Holiday Inn or some shit convention. It rained so bad that the water filled up in the parking lot on the sidewalk and actually seeped underneath the giant glass walls.
Wow.
So everybody who was in the hallway, their merchandise that they were going to sell was ruined. No. And I just remember going, oh, dude, what the hell? Like before the con even started and they lost half their inventory to weather. And you're just like, oh. And I remember a guy having a conversation with the hotel and the hotel having to talk to him about, because they did have insurance to cover things of that nature because, they would have conventions of different natures, you know, and you know, yeah, in their big room, whatever. What do they call it? The ballrooms. So I remember like, oh, what a way to start the show.
Yeah.
So I didn't even know it was raining. You know, when you're in a big hotel, you don't even hear the rain if you don't leave the hotel, and you're just like, wait, what happened? You got flooded out? Wait, here at this hotel? You're just like, oh, you poor bastards.
All right. For those watching, there's 53 people watching live. If you please go take a look at this campaign. Please back if you back it. Please ping Rob on Twitter. Let him know that you backed the book. Let him know which cover you picked. So far, cover B is the most popular. Rob, please come back when the next book is in campaign mode. Put us in your marketing your rotation when you're spreading the word. For those of you watching, Aldous and JP will be starting The Gutter soon. I think they're looking at a Norm Brayfogle book. It's like an OGN. I never heard of it, so I'm intrigued to check out and see what that's all about. So I'll put the link in the chat. So go read The Gutter after we watch whatever zaniness Craig has queued up for the outro. Craig, what your outros, man? You always keep me guessing. I've got no idea what you're going to hit us up with.
So this one, unfortunately, it's just basically our 3 topics and a little bit extra in the back. My software sort of kicked out for a little bit, so it took me several hours to figure out how to a workaround solution to get it to work. So not as good of an outro, but you know, you always get what you get with every Friday night. We come to you 10 p.m. Eastern, 3 topics from the week. You get your news with us. You get an intro and you get an outro. So there's something there. But yeah, thanks again, Rob, so much for joining us for this episode of Friday Nights. Really appreciate you coming and sharing some of your experiences within the comic book industry. I'm looking forward to getting Death Raider. It's right up my alley. I don't know if you know, I was a military veteran myself, so anytime I can read military themed comics.
That's cool. No, I actually, I'm not a vet though. I don't. Some people think, you know, I think it's probably because I said a veteran of comic books on my Twitter at one point. Someone goes, "You were in the military," and I'm like, no. And so I changed it to like, no, pro. Yeah, just a bit of comic books.
You're in the comic book trenches. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
So 53 joining us. Thank you for everyone in the chat as well. Sorry I didn't get to all the comments, but really appreciate all the interaction. Please like and subscribe to the YouTubes. And on that note, everyone, have an awesome weekend. Rob, it's up to you if you want to stay once the outro and we go live. We usually run the back room for a little bit, but that's totally up to you. But on that note, have a great weekend, everyone.
They got served. A ramen shop placed a bounty on the heads of 2 male customers who left them a bad review. The owner of Toyojiro, a highly rated Jiro-style ramen restaurant in Kyoto, Japan, took to Instagram to declare war, threatening the duo, who slapped his eatery with an awful 1-star review. He also posted their photo along with a cash reward to whomever could identify them, according to Dixerto. I saw your post and you seem a bit weird. We try not to treat people like you as customers, so it's fine, the owner said in the post, which has since been removed. But you should probably avoid eating out. Someday someone like you will get screwed. I don't care. Just come directly, and I'll deal with you. The restaurant also posted on its Instagram story, offering a reward of 100,000 yen per customer to anyone who could track them down, saying the search would continue until the 2 revisited the establishment and wrote a positive review. The only thing he can do is come back, eat again, and write a good review with a photo. I told him I won't forgive him otherwise, not even for the safety of his family.
A First Amendment dispute over a mural showing as sunbeams shining down on a mountain range made of sweets is headed to trial. It's a controversy we've told you about before in Conway, New Hampshire. Now, a federal judge will consider whether the town is infringing on free speech of the bakery owner displaying the mural over his business. The zoning board determined the mural as not art, but advertising, and told the owner to take it down. The owner sued the town, saying his freedom of speech rights were violated. The trial was supposed to start Thursday afternoon, but was rescheduled to today.
hidden interstellar tunnel connecting our solar system to distant stars. Found within the local hot bubble, a massive hot region shaped by ancient supernova explosions, these plasma pathways stretch toward the constellations Centaurus and Canis Major. Using the powerful Rosetta X-ray telescope, scientists uncovered these cosmic highways, which may serve as conduits for energy, matter, and even cosmic rays across the galaxy. These tunnels challenge our understanding of space as empty and reveal the intricate web of connections in our cosmic neighborhood. But what does this mean for the future of space exploration and our understanding of the Milky Way's architecture?
Now, wait a second. If I'm going to shoot right, you want to go on the other side of the camera? I don't want to shoot toward you. Go! You okay?
Everyone okay?
We're all good.
Yeah, the camera.
Let me see the camera. You all right?
Yeah, all good.
Let's stop. I'm getting nervous because we. Do we want you? I'm going to follow you.
Okay.
So I want you to go along. I don't know why you're going up hills and all this other. You're going to break your neck.
Yeah.
So I want you to lead him on the nicest path.
I would, but I'm...
No. I want you to go on the nicest path.
Yeah.
And I'm going to follow you.
Alec, it's your favorite president. Look, Alec, I will offer you a total pardon, because I want to be friends, right? I want to be friends. I will give you a total pardon for murdering that woman if you kiss the ring. Kiss the ring, Alec. Kiss the big, beautiful ring. Come on, Alec. Come on. Look at Alec Baldwin, right? He did that impersonation of me. It was not too hot, not too good. But look, we're back in office. You lost. Kamala lost. She's somewhere getting intoxicated. Look at that suitcase. Unbelievable. Well, Alec, if you don't want that pardon for murdering that woman in cold blood, you can call it first degree, you can call it whatever you want, but it was not good. She's looking down on me right now, smiling, happy. Thank you for confronting the man who took me out, who killed me, and that's okay.
Now, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
No, you realize, by the
Whoa.
way, no, look at me. I want you to look at me.
Sure.
You know, you got a camera on me here?
The ring? No, it's the ring.
But you realize my kids live in this building, right? But I want you to know something.
We love the children. We're doing great deals for the children.
Listen to me real careful.
Okay.
If this camera was here, I'd snap your fucking neck and have them break your fucking neck right there. You know that, don't you?
Okay. All right, Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin, ladies and gentlemen, class act. Believe me. Believe me. Okay. Oh, he's yelling at me. I'm a citizen of this. I was born and raised in New York City. I love you, Alec. Alec, look, Alec, you don't want to attack your favorite president, Alec. Look, I love you. I love you, Alec. He's got more balls than De Niro, that I can tell you. De Niro ran away. Alec confronted. That's good. He's strong, but also he's weak because he murdered a woman. So that's okay, right? Look at this guy.
Young man, there's no need to feel